Natasha,
Debbie,
show.
the show.
Welcome to it. Just two patriotic girls.
Learning about the world.
So please, don't take us the wrong way.
Hi, welcome to the Natasha and Debbie show.
Thank you so much for being here today. We're really quite excited about doing this episode. And please do not skip after the reaction and to just go away. Because we have a feeling we'll probably hold most of our comments, if not all of them, for after the video itself. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a speech by none other than, of course, Queen Elizabeth II herself. Now, we've never heard the speech before. We don't watch The Crown, and we know that we looked at the comments of this video and saw quite a few people, who's here because of The Crown? Not us. But before we get into this speech, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it.
And also consider subscribing.
It's free.
One of the reasons I love doing this show is
Sitting next to me.
sitting next to you is number one. Number two would be going over things in history that happened, because like this speech is from 1992. I was 21 at the time, and I was not really paying attention to what else was going on around the world. Now, Natasha was only 11, but somehow she was paying attention more to things going on, at least big things in the news and in the world.
Well, that's because of my mom. My mom was, and my family in general, you know, they watch the news every night, but my mom was really into...
Yeah. I can see that, being that age, staying home with your parents and watching the news.
Yeah, being 11 when you're 21, that's not creepy. We met 2 days later. I'm kidding. But no, I do recall some of the things that happened in 92, of course, with the Queen and the royal family. And I know you do too, you just don't remember.
I may, but you asked me something that happened in 1992, and I'd say I turned 21. I don't know.
I promise you'll remember in just a moment. So what is the title of what we're watching today?
1992, Queen Elizabeth II's famous, you get that one.
Annus Horribilis speech. I hope I said that right. I don't want to say that again. I don't want to say it again. So good news for you is the description of the video has almost everything that happened in 92 for the royal family. Okay. I do remember the fire at Windsor.
I do remember that.
I told you she's going to remember this. Yeah. So let's just read the description of the video. So then Debbie will have light bulb moments every 5 seconds. I guarantee it. Because honestly, there was no one on planet Earth who wasn't my age and older, or maybe even a little younger than me, that escaped any of the things that were happening around the royal family in 1992. There was so many things going on. So it says on November 24th, 1992, I really just turned 11. This is 12 days after my birthday. Queen Elizabeth II made an unprecedented plea for sympathy in a speech made at the Corporation of London Lunch to mark her reign of 40 years. Dang. In the speech, the Queen spoke of 1992 as being an, I have to say it again, horrible year. There, that's what that means in Latin. And asked for moderation and good humor from the press when the monarchy was being criticized. She did, however, acknowledge the value and legitimacy of public scrutiny of the monarchy. There you go. Ready? History time?
Sure.
You're going to remember all these things. 1992 was indeed a difficult year for the Queen and the monarchy more broadly. The fire destroyed part of Windsor Castle. Both Prince Charles and Prince Andrew announced they were separating from their respective partners.
Yes, I remember this.
Told you.
Didn't know it was 1992.
Princess Anne announced her divorce. And of course, the public breakdown of the marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana.
Yes.
And that made the entire royal family the subject of a relentless media scrutiny. Again, every tabloid, every TV station, even here around the world.
Yeah, it was talked about quite a bit.
You remember every bit of that, don't you?
It's unfair how the press just
attacks them?
latches onto something.
Yeah, well.
I mean,
that's what happens in the public eye.
Divorce and separation happens in
every family.
A lot of families.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't every family.
No.
This is the royal family.
It's the royal family. Yeah.
Yes. So that is a lot that happened that year. And I remember other things that happened that we'll talk about. Something I remember that's kind of actually kind of wrong, but humorous at the end of the video. We'll try not to pause. But that's just a recap for you to remember. I knew you would remember. And those who may not know, I think everybody here watching probably does. So we've never heard the speech, and I want to see and hear how Queen Elizabeth, I have no idea how this is going to go.
I love hearing her speeches.
I do too. So here we're going to take a look now. I remember that man's face. I do not remember who he is, though. But I definitely remember seeing him often. Remind me. What was that? I would say nerves, but I know Queen Elizabeth better than that. No, that looked like obligatory anger. I don't want to give this speech. I want to forget this year ever happened. It's almost New Year's, and we're not doing this.
They kind of look like a...
hell.
Let's get this done.
Those damn kids. And basically what we said at the beginning.
Yeah.
This happens to every family. Why do I have to keep doing this crap? No, but in all seriousness, like, I don't think that was nerves so much as obligatory, like, this is part of the job that I don't like. True. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, only she herself would know how she felt, but that was something different I hadn't seen from her before. But this is a different year and a whole lot of different stuff that we hadn't looked at in the past. So
that is true. Love her hat, by the way.
Just watching her expression. The way she gets up like, all right, whatever.
My Lord Mayor, could I say first how delighted I am that the Lady Mayoress is here today.
Help us in the comments. We don't know who that is. Sorry.
This great hall has provided me with some of the most memorable events in my life. The hospitality of the City of London is famous round the world, but nowhere is it more appreciated than among the members of my family. I am deeply grateful that you, my Lord Mayor, and the corporation have seen fit to mark the 40th anniversary of my accession with this splendid lunch, and by giving me a picture which I will greatly cherish. Thank you also for inviting representatives of so many organizations with which I and my family have special connections, in some cases stretching back over several generations. To use an expression more common north of the border, this is a real gathering of the clans. 1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure. In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an Annus Horribilis.
I wouldn't laugh at that.
I suspect that I'm not alone in thinking it so. Indeed, I suspect that there are very few people or institutions unaffected by these last months of worldwide turmoil and uncertainty. This generosity and wholehearted kindness of the corporation of the city to Prince Philip and me would be welcome at any time, but at this particular moment, in the aftermath of Friday's tragic fire at Windsor,
this just happened.
It is especially so.
I didn't know that.
And after this last weekend, we appreciate all the more what has been set before us today. Years of experience, however, have made us a bit more canny than the lady less well-versed than us in the splendours of city hospitality, who, when she was offered a balloon glass for her brandy, asked for only half a glass, please. It is possible to have too much of a good thing. A well-meaning bishop was obviously doing his best when he told Queen Victoria, "Ma'am, we cannot pray too often nor too fervently for the royal family." The Queen's reply was, "Too fervently, no. Too often, yes."
Always had that sense of humor.
I, like Queen Victoria, have always been a believer in that old maxim, moderation in all things. I sometimes wonder how future generations will judge the events of this tumultuous year. I dare say that history will take a slightly more moderate view than that of some contemporary commentators.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to pause it, but that. Wow. Firstly, I would say that, ma'am, we certainly did not change our love for you.
No.
It just grew stronger. And again, she's right. She was right about that. That later on, more of a moderate, yeah, if not a, hey, we love you more.
Exactly.
I know there's been judgment, of course, to other members of the royal family, and we're not getting into that today. It's about Queen Elizabeth, the speech. And of course, the whole thing is about the whole family. At the same time, yeah, what foresight and insight she had to already know, like really that even now we're sitting here listening to this, listening to her words going, okay, yeah, we're not going to be, I don't know. Times could have been a lot different though, honestly, God, if that had happened now and she was still here, it'd be worse.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sorry about the pause.
Yeah. I dare say that history will take a slightly more moderate view than that of some contemporary commentators.
Good way to get to them nicely, though.
Distance is well known to lend enchantment, even to the less attractive views. After all, it has the inestimable advantage of hindsight.
Definitely.
But it can also lend an extra dimension to judgment, giving it a leavening of moderation and compassion, even of wisdom, that is sometimes lacking in the reactions of those whose task it is in life to offer instant opinions on all things, great and small. No section of the community has all the virtues, neither does any have all the vices. I am quite sure that most people try to do their best, to do their jobs as best they can, even if the result is not always entirely successful.
Yep. Well said.
He who has never failed to reach perfection has a right to be the harshest critic.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was great.
Yes.
I love that line. Just soaking that in for a moment. Sorry, I want to hear it again.
Entirely
Does
successful.
not reach perfection.
He who has never failed to reach perfection has a right to be the harshest critic.
Yep.
city is a good example of the way the process of change can be incorporated into the stability and continuity of a great institution. I particularly admire, my Lord Mayor, the way in which the city has adapted so nimbly to what the prayer book calls the changes and chances of this mortal life. You have set an example of how it is possible to remain effective and dynamic without losing those indefinable qualities, style and character.
Sorry. She literally just spoke of herself in those last couple words.
Yes.
Style and character.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even realize what she just did. Yeah. I mean, she did. And she's doing it right here in this speech.
Yes, she is.
Qualities, style and character.
Yep.
We only have to look around this great hall to see the truth of that.
Or listen to you, man.
40 years is quite a long time. I am glad to have had the chance to witness and to take part in many dramatic changes in life in this country.
You'll have many more.
But I'm glad to say that the magnificent standard of hospitality given on so many occasions to the Sovereign by the Lord Mayor of London has not changed at all. It is an outward symbol of one other unchanging factor which I value above all, the loyalty given to me and to my family by so many people in this country and the Commonwealth throughout my reign.
In the world, promise.
You, my Lord Mayor, and all those whose prayers, fervent I hope, but not too frequent, have sustained me through all these years, are friends indeed. Prince Philip and I give you all, wherever you may be, our most humble thanks. And now I ask you to rise and drink the health of the Lord Mayor and Corporation of London.
Prince Philip's like, need that drink quick. He found that pretty fast. Absolutely. Beautiful. Never seen this room before. You can only clap so long.
I wonder which hall that is.
That's said, I don't remember now. I think she knows she nailed that, right? You can see the weight lifted, though.
Yeah,
She still
definitely.
reminds me of your mother.
I can see a little bit of that.
I see it a lot. Similar glasses. I think that's just, yeah. You can see the weight lifted from her, can you not?
Definitely.
From the beginning part where we paused for a second.
Oh, sure.
To there. I mean, yeah. It's done. It's like, oh yeah, thank God. But then it's also like, what are they going to write about me tomorrow with the speech?
Exactly.
And I don't know. What did they write? Was this taken well? Is there any more to this video? Apparently. I do not remember who that is. I know I've seen him. You don't remember his face?
No, I don't.
Debbie didn't watch TV. You don't watch the news?
No, I was not stuck to the news.
I've seen that guy. I know. I don't forget a face. Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised that it was a good speech. It's Queen Elizabeth.
Not at
I've
all.
not heard her give a bad speech.
No.
It was beautiful. It was elegant. It was witty. And it was also graceful.
That's a good word for it, graceful.
That's just word that word just follows her around, you know? Like it wants to be her.
Yes.
Grace and her, they're hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you miss her even more.
It does. I do miss seeing more of her speeches and just knowing she's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And quite honestly, you know, I was listening to that and thinking about what you said at the beginning of the video, how I was 11, you know, when this was done, and thinking to myself, as she's saying, my 40-year reign so far, that my Lord, she had already been queen for 30 years prior to me being alive. And then think how many more years until,
I know.
What, I was 41? 41? I don't know. Math is not my thing. So what a span of time of what she saw from the beginning when her dad was king until the end of her life. Just an amazing woman, remarkable woman, and how yeah, I miss her. Yes, we all miss her, I think. But to me, instead of missing her, what I think of is how honored I feel to have been on this earth at the same time as her. You know? Yeah. To have walked this planet at the same time that she did, because she is literally one in a lifetime human being.
I would agree with that. And, you know, she talked about having hindsight, and obviously during this speech, she had no idea how much longer she would be.
I bet if you told her, she would have thrown a glass in your face.
You
like,
no.
No.
I couldn't imagine being in the spotlight like that and having every little thing I say or do scrutinized, judged.
But she always handled it so well.
She did. She definitely did handle it.
I mean, she literally had the weight of her whole family on her shoulders and the world watching her and listening to every little syllable she had to say. Yeah. I thought it was a beautiful speech. Let us know your thoughts. I'm sure if you've seen it or if you haven't heard it before. And please hit the like button for today's episode, guys, and consider subscribing to the channel. It's free. It's always a wonderful feeling to hear her voice again, see her face, no matter when it was. And I'm glad we watched this and listened to it. I want to listen to it again, quite honestly. But she really just chose her words carefully at the same time too, because I think it'd be really easy for her to go off script in that moment, but she always towed that line.
Yes. I mean, like she was saying in the speech, you know, asking for criticism, but yes, to do it.
Really asking for criticism.
Well, saying that any institution should be, you know, scrutinized to a point.
Can be, yeah.
And should be. But to do it tastefully, respectfully.
Well, can the rest of the world just go ahead and listen to that again? I mean, honestly, you're right. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because that's never happened, though. And it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, way worse.
So maybe that's something we can all learn from this. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. I know I certainly did. Again, singing and, like I said, hearing her voice is always something that makes me feel better about the world, even if it is now the past. But we will see you on the next episode. And until that moment, as always, please love like Jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson. Bye.